So I just did a video on, and right. So I'll post it in the description. Oh boy, more work for me. But I just did a video on. I did a video on what the Democrats did to allow a lot of people to go homeless in this country, and how they're playing the blame game. Now, there's a reason that they allowed it to happen. And I know you know what the reason. A lot of you that watch my channel are going to possibly guess it already. Pretty much, it's money. And guys, it's why we need to get money out of politics and why we need publicly funded elections. But, there's a problem when you allow evictions to go through, right? And I'm going to go through this, and then I'm also going to go into how these lawmakers see the lawmakers, and how much money they've been raking in from the real estate corporations, because these are the people that benefit directly from these eviction bans not going through, or not going through, making sure they don't go. So, right. So, here's this: allowing eviction bans to proceed will make the pandemic worse and will likely cause massive hardship on an unprecedented level. Last year, researchers found that the expiration of state eviction bans had caused more than 400,000 new COVID cases between March and September. At least 3.6 million people are now facing the risk of eviction. That number could be far higher. According to the Aspen Institute, more than 15 million people are living in households that are behind on rent. So, these are mostly people, probably mainly people who lost their jobs, are trying to look for jobs, unemployment is running out, are on Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. These are people who maybe they're getting back to work. Maybe they have one person working in the family, but they live in a really high costing area. And they can't afford the rent. And so that's why they're behind on the rent. Me and my mom fall behind on rent every month. So there you go. So they're going to allow all these people to go homeless. All of them. Well, you couldn't pay your rent. F you. That's literally what they're saying. That's actually what they're saying, ladies and gentlemen. Meanwhile, Democrats have been raking in money from residential real estate interests that could benefit from the moratorium expiring. Oh, now we've reached the reason why they let it expire. Now we finally got it. Okay. Now here's a quote. I've been looking at real estate. Real estate, housing, and landlords for about 15 years, and this feels like an extension of what I have seen at the state and local levels, said Sarah Michelbust, bargaining for the Common Good Research Director at Georgetown University's Komenovitz Initiative for Labor and the Working Poor. You could certainly see a pattern of landlords having close relationships as a result of money and influence, and that can affect the way lawmakers see these issues, the questions they ask, and the timelines on which they are willing to take action or not. What does she mean here? When she says take action or not, what she's saying is, depending on the money they get and who they get it from, that's who they're going to listen to. If you can give them $200,000 or more, they're going to listen to you more than any other person in this country. $250,000 and higher. They're going to take your phone calls over the average citizen. And that can affect what issues they care about. Do they care about the military more? Do they care about these real estate corporate interests? Or do they care about you? Do they care about the minimum wage? Do they care about healthcare in this country? Do they care about housing in this country? Climate change, student debt relief, free college, ending the wars? No, right? It's not. Most times they don't. So that's what they mean there. Michelbust added, it's not shocking because we have seen this pattern again and again. Why have we seen this pattern? Because nothing has changed and Obama made the banks bigger. He gave $14 trillion to Wall Street. That's how this is happening again and again. And the deregulation of these corporations, or $15 trillion, whatever it was. What is shocking is that millions of people are at risk of not just becoming homeless, but also getting a deadly disease. Seems self-explanatory there, right? Now if you want to know how this eviction moratorium didn't get extended, well, let's go over the millions that the Democrats got from the real estate corporation. George Marcus, chairman of both the massive real estate brokerage Marcus and Millsap, and the real estate investment trust Essex Property Trust, donated $1 million on June 1st to House Majority PAC, a super PAC that works to elect Democratic lawmakers. The donation amounted to nearly 7% of the total funding the committee has raised so far this year. He gave 7% to them. You think they're not going to listen to him? Okay, it gets worse. Marcus also donated $263,400 in June to a joint fundraising committee benefiting House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's campaign, her leadership PAC, and and the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the party's committee that works to elect House Democrats. Okay, so he's donating to all these people, and he's a real estate tycoon, to make sure that they don't extend the eviction moratorium. You don't just give this money for charity, okay? During the 2020 election cycle, Marcus donated a combined $1 million to the DCCC and the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, which elects Democratic Senate candidates. He contributed millions more to the party-aligned super PACs that aided those committees. $3.5 million to Senate Majority PAC and $3 million to House Majority PAC. He's still not done. Marcus, who has a net worth of $1.7 billion, has also been a huge Biden supporter. He donated $4 million to super PACs that supported Biden. So if you want to know who those PACs are, here we go. Here it is. Priorities USA, $2 million. No, not bad. Unite the Country, $1 million. Wonder why he gave them less. And American Bridge PAC, $1 million. Wow. He also hosted a Biden fundraiser in 2019 and donated $500,000 to the Biden Victory Fund, a joint fundraising committee benefiting the Biden campaign, the Democratic National Committee, and state parties. So, if you want to know, this is one of Biden's biggest donors, the real estate corporation, finance, and insurance. Okay? And then, wait, it gets even better, right? You want to know why the Democratic National Committee is so corrupt? This is why they're so corrupt. This is why they don't help you. This is why they rigged the primary against Bernie, and this is why they did it again. And you want to know why your state parties don't give a F about you? This is it. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not kidding you. Marcus and Millsap, founded by Marcus in 1971, is the largest commercial real estate brokerage in North America and sells apartment buildings too. While Marcus is part of a group of billionaire landlords that have together seen their personal fortunes increase by nearly $25 billion since last March, Marcus and Millsap has been hit hard by the pandemic. I feel so terrible. No, I effing don't. Are you kidding me? You know who's been hit even more? Even worse? Renters. Marcus also chairs and founded Essex Property Trust, and he contributes a 3% stake in the company, according to Forbes. As of last year, Essex Property Trust had an ownership interest in 60,272 apartment units in California and Washington State, according to company disclosures. Wonder why those are important. You'll see. Over the last two election cycles, Essex Property Trust donated $23.5 million to committees that opposed ballot initiatives that would have allowed rent control measures in California. Okay, wait. So I'm going to stop here and tell you, you want to know why rent is so high? You want to know why a one-bedroom apartment costs $2,000 a month in California? This is why. These guys spend all the money in the world to not only corrupt the legislature in California, a Democratic majority legislature, but also to make sure that these ballot initiatives don't get passed, so that the people's voices don't get heard, so that there's no rent control, so that they can charge you whatever the hell they want and get away with it. That's why. So whenever you're wondering, oh God, why is this happening in California? This is exactly it. Your Democratic majority is allowing homeless people to live under bridges, under every bridge and in every corner in the state of California. That's why. In its latest quarterly report, Essex Property Trust wrote that primarily as a result of the pandemic, its cash delinquency rate was higher than the pre-pandemic period, but improved from 4.3% for the 3 months that ended June 30th, 2020 to 2.6% for the 3 months that ended June 30th, 2021. Oh, hey, pre-pandemic, we were doing pretty well, but, people lost their jobs, so we're suffering. So they're suffering because of the pandemic, and they're whining. They're whining here. That's quite incredible that they're still whining. So, the company said that it, quote, has executed some payment plans and will continue to work with residents to collect such cash delinquencies. You know what that means? Hey, we're going to make sure that we charge your ass's rent, and if you can't pay it, I don't care. You're still going to need to pay us rent, or we're going to kick you out. That's actually what they're saying here. They're not saying, hey, we're going to help you, we're going to forgive it. No, we want your money, and we want it now so we can donate it to the Democratic Party so they keep letting us torment you and torture you and throw you out if you don't pay us. That's exactly what it means. All right, let's continue. I'm just saying all of this so you know not to vote for the Democratic Party and to show you why you shouldn't. In an earnings call last week, Essex Property Trust CEO Michael Shaw said that the company expects its delinquency rates will return to normal levels over time as more workers enter the workforce and eviction protections lapse on September 30th in both California and Washington. Remember why I said those two states were important? It's because the Democrats in California and Washington, Jay Inslee in Washington and Gavin Newsom, if he doesn't lose his recall election, really just right. They're allowing, and the Democratic legislatures in Washington and California, for these evictions in California and Washington to expire. They're allowing you to go homeless, and these guys can't wait. They're like, oh, yes, we can now threaten you on September 30th. On October 1st. Hey, if you don't fucking get your shit straight, we're gonna kick you out. Yeah, that's what it means, because Democrats are letting it happen. When asked about the expected federal eviction moratorium, when asked about the expiration of the federal eviction moratorium, Shaw said that, quote, we expect to work with our residents to the extent we can. Yeah, to the extent that we're not going to let them not pay rent. We want them to pay rent, and we're not going to take no for an answer. Here we go. Marcus is far from the only Democratic donor who stands to gain from the eviction moratorium expiring. During the 2020 election cycle, executives from the Blackstone Group, the private equity giant, donated $2.3 million to Senate Majority PAC, $250,000 to House Majority PAC, and $350,000 to Unite the Country. the pro-Biden super PAC. Oh, see, there you go. So he's not only taking money from George Marcus's two real estate giant groups, but he's also taking it from this group here. In June, Blackstone announced it was buying Home Partners of America. Home Partners of America, a single-family home rental business that owns more than 17,000 homes. Blackstone also became a majority investor last year in Tricon Residential, which owns more than 30,000 single-family and multifamily residential rental homes. It's 30,000 and multifamily rental homes in the United States and Canada. Lobbyists for real estate interests have also been flooding Democrats with cash. Oh, so not only the groups, not only the CEOs, not only the executives, not only the companies, but also the lobbyists. It just doesn't stop. The lobbying firm Brownstein Hyatt Farber Spreck has bundled $227,550 worth of donations for the DSCC this year. Brownstein's lobbying clients include Apollo Global Management and Ares Management, two private equity firms with substantial real estate interests. Aiken Gump, Strauss, Hauer, and Feld and its lobbyists have bundled. Just get ready for this. Get ready for this. $336,500 for the DSCC this year. So Blackstone and this group. The firm lobbies for Koch Industries, the conglomerate led by conservative billionaire Charles Koch that has been investing in residential real estate, specifically single-family rental homes during the pandemic. So now the Democrats are working with Charles Koch and the Koch brothers. This is why I've been saying do not vote for the Democratic Party. This is why they allowed the eviction moratoriums to take over, to expire and lapse. This is why they allowed millions of people to go homeless. Gee, I wonder why they did such a poor measure with the unanimous consent. I wonder why they didn't do something after Brett Kavanaugh said, "Extend it by legislation, hoes and bitches." I wonder why. I wonder why your Democrats don't care about you. I wonder why the squad doesn't stand up for these people. Doesn't or stand up to these people. I don't know. AOC donated more than, what was it, 600,000 or something like that to right-wing Democrats like these guys. Incredible. Just incredible. That's your Democratic Party for you. That's why a lot of people are going homeless. That's why you have over 500,000 people going homeless, over 100,000 veterans going homeless. That's why you have 40% of the homeless rate of the homeless population working but without homes because they can't afford rent, because they can't afford mortgages, because they can't afford to live in a house or an apartment. That's why every bridge in California, every corner in California, every sidewalk in California, and every single bridge, corner, and sidewalk in Nevada has homeless people under it, on it, over everything. Everything. Everywhere. This is why. But keep voting blue. Keep voting blue no matter who. Any blue will do. Yeah, that's any blue will do. Anything to keep you homeless.